Live from Studio A, WTLK, The Thunder.
Hey everyone, so I'm going to try to make this semi-quick because I've got a lot of information to spill out before Clash of Champions starts in 13 minutes as of this recording. Well, the kickoff show will be starting, but still, I like to watch that too. So anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home's announced that it'll be coming out on digital September 17th, which will be the day after this post day. It will be on Blu-ray October 1st. And yes, I'm definitely getting it. Speaking of Spider-Man, History of Comic Books just wrapped the entire history of Spider-Man, and you ought to listen to it. But before you listen to it, let me issue this correction here, because he told the time, because we went to SCarowinds this past Saturday, and he was counting a time where I played Cruisin' USA because I was too much of a scaredy cat to go on Boo Blasters. And first fucking thing, it wasn't Boo Blasters, it was Last Laugh 3D, which was a 3D clown maze. And I would think most people outside of our Fall Horsemen gang would probably be like, yeah, I don't blame you, Sexy Thor. I really don't. And yeah, so he said it was Boo Blasters, actually Last Laugh, and yeah, it was, yeah, can't blame me because it was clowns. And also, this took place in 2011. When I went to SCarowinds, that was my first experience with haunted attractions since fucking middle school, like 8 years earlier. And since then, I've done nothing but fucking go to more and more haunted houses and fucking beast these things. Like, I led pretty much all of them this past weekend. There was a time when we were in Depths of Darkness, which was definitely my favorite of this batch because they got rid of Zombie High School, that we got stuck in a dark area, and I kept reaching or feeling around to the left and the right, being like, where the fuck's the entrance? And Wheatley found that the entrance was actually straight ahead, or the entrance to the next room, I should say. So he led the rest of the way. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. I think my last 8 years of experiences speak for itself. And I wonder, it must be my imagination, but it seems he's now just incorporating new details that I either can't remember or just entirely made up. Because I thought he was trying to say that for the first 3 quarters of Super Bowl 51, I was being smarmy or arrogant or a troll or whatever. I don't know. He didn't really finish that thought because it wasn't true. Because, and I think James would back me up on this, I was being very cautiously humble about it. Because, you know, anything could happen. I know football and sports and life all too well. Anything could happen, and sure enough, it did. So pretty much, kids, the lesson here is showboat and troll anytime you're ahead, no matter what, because even if you're nice and humble and you lose anyway, people are still going to dump on you, so fuck it, go all out. God, that's a terrible lesson. But fuck 'em, who cares? Do it. Be you. Let out that inner big dog. So anyway, enough of all that. It's all in good fun. You know, the Mosers and Wheatley have helped push me personally to new heights. And over the last decade, I've had a lot of people, you know, come and go in my life. A lot of friends. I'm doing air quotes because this is an audio medium. And a lot of people have come and gone. Most of them I'm very happy to finally see go. But the Mosers and Wheatley have been that one constant, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So, oh yeah, by the way, the Fall Horsemen, our little group thing, our socials are now all up: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So go, I'll give those a follow. James and Jessica have posted plenty of pictures from SCarowinds on there, and also some pumpkin treats that they've made or encountered. So definitely go check those out. I'm starting to build up factions like I'm fucking Triple H here, first Thunder Talk and now Fall Horsemen. It's a thing with me. But yeah, go and stay tuned because we'll have stuff from Netherworld, which is a haunted house that you should know about and you should go to always. And also we'll have a video series or podcast thing coming up here really, really, really soon. So stay tuned. Trust me, I'm going to remind you about this like literally every WTLK from now till November, so you have no choice. Also, to cover some last second horror stuff, finally got around to playing that Blair Witch game because I got Gears 5 Monday night, and I'm waiting, since I played it today, the 15th, I'm waiting to get my notification that I've unlocked motherfucking Batista as an unlockable character for Horde mode on there. So, and whenever that wants to happen, though I did use the Terminator character pack that came with it, and I played as fucking Sarah Connor in Horde mode, and that was pretty dope. That was incredibly dope. But anyway, Gears 5 gave me a 14-day Xbox Game Pass trial, so I got Blair Witch, and yeah, I'd say it's the most faithful iteration to Blair Witch mythology since ever. Honestly, with its sort of reality altering things, I would say it actually takes things from all three movies pretty well, including, what you see in the tape is reality, and also the woods moving you around in circles and all that. The only thing that just makes me really more nervous about this in horror games is, you've got a dog companion on you who pretty much guides you through the woods and takes you to next clues, and you got to take note to often treat him right, pet him and give him dog treats and all that, if you don't want to neglect him or anything, because it's a dog. I mean, it's a virtual dog, but still, it is a wonderful creature, and this is coming from a mainly cat person. But evidently, from what I held, spoiler alert, the dog seems like it dies at one point, but I believe it's actually just a shitty Blair Witch illusion, and the dog actually is okay no matter what, because I guess whoever the developers aren't actually monsters, but still to just have the dog under that threat of weird demon things or crazy hermit guys with the witch in their head trying to get you and the dog. It's like, bleh, bleh. Oh, and I saw It Chapter 2, and it was good. Yeah, not as scary as other people thought, but I thought it was a 2 hour and 50-minute movie that pretty much went by almost as smoothly as Avengers Endgame. And really, there were some plot points I was just like, this kind of really reminds me of Endgame. So yeah, that's enough of the horror stuff. So wrestling. So Stone Cold moderated the contract signing, and the OC crashed it. So Steve Austin spoke to them, and then he hit AJ with a stunner. There was no Fiend, sadly, because the internet thought he was going to go to Stone Cold, but he didn't. And also, Undertaker opened up SmackDown the next day because this Raw and SmackDown were in Madison Square Garden. And I'm watching NFL Red Zone right now, and Jalen Ramsey's looking really mad about something. It's funny. He's kind of an arrogant shit. Anyway, yeah, Undertaker was on SmackDown, and we were just like, okay, because the Firefly Funhouse that took place during Raw was like, 11/19, maybe he's going after Undertaker, since he didn't go after the Hall of Famer on Raw like he usually does. And nope, Sami Zayn came out. He was being all Sami Zayn, blah, blah, blah. And then Undertaker just put him down. So it'll be interesting because Undertaker is also going to be on SmackDown when it premieres on Fox on Friday, October 4th, which is the go-home show to Hell in a Cell, where we're expecting The Fiend will be taking on Seth Rollins and or Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. So we'll see what happens then. Until then, I'm actually pretty stoked about, having cryptic messages and misdirects from Bray Wyatt from the Funhouse. Also because I can yell, "Stranger danger! Stranger danger!" So anyway, the four horsewomen battle each other, Becky and Charlotte versus Sasha and Bayley. And amazingly, Becky and Charlotte actually worked pretty well together, and they won. Some of that chemistry is still there, I see. And also mutual hatred for Sasha and Bayley. Baron Corbin defeated Samoa Joe and Ricochet in the Raw side of the King of the Ring semifinals, so he'll move on to the King of the Ring finals. There was a 10-man tag team thing. Yes, I say that, 10-man tag team match with Cedric Alexander, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman and the Viking Raiders versus the OC and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And at one point it looked a little bit hairy because Seth knocked into Braun and ruined the pin, and Braun got mad and was like, "What are you doing?" But Cedric ended up pinning AJ, which earns him a United States Championship title shot at Clash of Champions. What's up? So anyway, on the SmackDown side, Roman and Rowan beat the shit out of each other and had some words. And it was announced that their match at Clash of Champions will be no disqualification. On the SmackDown side in the King of the Ring semifinals, Chad Gable defeated Shane McMahon, and this one was actually interesting because Shane McMahon asked Kevin Owens to be the special guest referee, and if he does his job right, which means make sure Shane McMahon wins, he'll remove the $100,000 fine that he levied on Kevin Owens for assaulting Elias at SummerSlam. And, the first match, Chad pinned Shane pretty quickly, and, Kevin Owens just did 1, 2, 3, and pretty much got it for Chad the way Shane got it for Elias when he faced Kevin Owens in the first round. And Shane McMahon was like, no, 2 out of 3 falls. And so he and Gable had a much longer match. Gable pinned him pretty fairly a few times, but Kevin was slowly counting so Shane could get out on time. And hold on, I've got to just get on my Roku and start pulling up the kickoff show now. So, Chad got some good pins on Shane. Shane got some good pins on Chad, but Chad kicked out way too fast because Kevin was actually kicking or actually counting a little bit faster for the second round. And then Chad did the smartest thing, which is try to submit Shane, and it actually worked because ref can't do anything there. So Shane lost to Chad. Chad moves on to the King of the Ring finals against Baron Corbin, which will happen this Monday on Raw. not for Clash of Champions because there's too many matches, because we need Roman on a pay-per-view because we missed SummerSlam. And God, Clash of Champions is in fucking Charlotte, man. I could be there now. But anyway, yeah. So Shane was mad because he got pinned and he fired Kevin Owens. Now we'll see where that goes here in the coming weeks, but Kevin Owens did put out a cryptic 3 numbers, which equaled to the letter positioning in the alphabet where NXT is. So Kevin Owens could be coming back to NXT. His last run, he was NXT champion and relinquished it only because he got called up to the main roster. So speaking of NXT will be premiering on USA this week, and there'll be a bit of a transition period because this week and next week, the first hour of NXT will be on USA, and then the second hour at 9 Eastern will be on the WWE Network. So just keep that in mind. And then from then on, NXT, both hours will be on USA, which that would make it October 2nd, I believe. So yeah, mark your calendars, kids. Also on the last full NXT before the whole USA move, Johnny Gargano announced that he is staying in NXT. Though I was expecting Tommaso Ciampa to come out and either challenge him or be like all friends again. But no, Shane Thorne came out, was a dickhead as usual, and Johnny super kicked him. And so begins a new chapter with Johnny Gargano's career in NXT. Where that goes, we'll see. And in NXT UK, the grizzled young veterans had a rematch with Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster for the NXT UK Tag Team Championship, and they lost fair and square, so that's it. Also, this took place in Cardiff, where the takeover happened. Also in NXT, Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler had their match, and Ripley was wiping the floor with her, and then her cronies Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir came out to try to interfere, so Ripley was like, nah, I'm not playing this fucking game, took out a steel chair, beat the shit out of Shayna, and disqualified herself, but this turns out it could be a longer feud, so we'll see what happens from there. So in this next segment, which will probably not sound any different or might sound just a little different, we'll be talking about Clash of Champions. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Clash of Champions just ended, and here are the results. The kickoff show started with the Cruiserweight Championship. It was the champion Drew Gulak versus Lince Dorado and Humberto Carrillo, and Drew Gulak won. He retains his Cruiserweight Championship. AJ Styles defeated Cedric Alexander to retain the United States Championship, and then the OC mugged him afterwards as a sort of to make an example out of him and to teach him a lesson, and because they're just rat bastards like that. And then on the main show, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, that team that wasn't even a team a month ago, defeated Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman for the Raw Tag Team titles, and to also heighten the drama for the Universal Championship that would be going on later. Bayley defeated Charlotte to retain her SmackDown Women's Championship, and she won by exposing the bottom turnbuckle while the ref was distracted and launched Charlotte's face in it and then pinning her, and then she grabbed her belt and took off like a bat out of hell. Like, no shit. The Revival, the Raw Tag Team Revival, the Revival who are assigned to Monday nights, defeated Xavier Woods and Big E of the New Day to get their SmackDown Tag Team titles. So, I don't know, I have a feeling maybe the Revival will be going on SmackDown soon, maybe? I mean, I guess. And then one of the most important matches and most important results Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeated Fire and Desire to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, baby! Of course they had to, because Alexa Bliss was literally dressed like Arkham Knight Harley Quinn. I mean, no shit. Which was really interesting because September has been a month of me sort of revisiting things and sort of tying up loose ends, like finally going to Dragon Con and finally playing Gears 3. Really wrapping up 2011 a bit. But yeah, seeing Alexa dressed as Harley, I was just like, that's basically how she got my attention back in 2016. So, I mean, not that I needed to be reminded why I love Alexa Bliss, but you know, always nice to have those reminders. The Intercontinental Championship happened next with Shinsuke Nakamura defeating The Miz to retain, and with a lot of help of Sami Zayn being a distraction and The Miz tossing his microphone all the way from from one end of the ramp to another. It's just like, I mean, he threw that mic pretty good. I mean, maybe the Panthers might want to seriously consider using him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure Cam's shoulder will heal up just fine. No problem. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Next up, we have Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. And holy shit, I haven't seen a Raw Women's Championship this good since WrestleMania, honestly. I mean, it was a pretty heavy fight starting off just regularly, and then Sasha snuck in a little chair to hit Becky after distracting the ref by throwing another chair, which is something her idol Eddie Guerrero used to do. And then Becky was just like, you know what, fuck it, I can get disqualified but still retain this belt, so whatever. So she was about to hit Sasha, but Sasha got out of the way and she hit the referee instead. So literally it just became no disqualification, falls count anywhere goes, whatever, because Sasha and Becky literally fought up the steps, down the hall to the next set of stairs, and then fought down those stairs all the way down to the ring. And yeah, once that got done, Becky got a chair. When she got Sasha in the ring, it was starting to rip her arm off through that chair, and then officials came out and ripped Becky away and pretty much decided that Becky is disqualified for hitting the ref with that chair earlier, which those officials caught up like literally 20 minutes later. But Becky still retains the Raw Women's Championship, and I think there's some things to take away from this. Some reminders, you know, I talked about with the Alexa Bliss match, you know, her Harley get up, you know, reminding me why she became my favorite in the first place and why I started watching wrestling because of her. But yeah, it reminds us that the Four Horsewomen were fucking awesome, and welcome back Sasha Banks, and definitely most importantly, very important, Becky showed us why she's the man, how she became who she was last summer after slapping the shit out of Charlotte last SummerSlam. She really showed why she is the man. And yeah, because I mean, after WrestleMania, she like peaked, and then she had that shit with Lacey Evans, and then a little spat with Natalia and all that. Like it, I still loved Becky no matter what, but you know, the general consensus among the WWE universe was that, you know, she was kind of like either getting stale or just like meh. Okay, now she's just fighting these newbies, and Natalia. Okay, I guess WrestleMania 35 was that peak. Ooh, no. Sasha came back and they both proved otherwise. Next up, Kofi Kingston defeated Randy Orton perfectly clean to retain the WWE Championship. Probably puts a cap on that 10-year rivalry after Randy Orton had been trying to keep Kofi down all this time. Kofi finally got the last laugh. Next up, the second to last match was Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan, no disqualification, and yeah, Rowan was kicking the shit out of him, and then Roman got the equalizer eventually after they went out into the crowd and started wailing on each other, and then it had looked like Roman was starting to get the upper hands, and Rowan was just dazed, and Roman was going in for a spear, to which he was ooh-eyeing from the whole LED entrance platform, so he was gonna spear him from like that far ahead. And when he was on his way to clock that spear and clock in and overcome, Luke Harper came out of nowhere and just kicked Roman in the face, and then he helped Rowan clobber Roman, and that was that. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper back together. Now some backstory. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan had been working together since the Wyatt family about 6 years ago, and then eventually they split off from Bray and became the Bludgeon Brothers, and they've been tag team champions as the Bludgeon Brothers, and then about summer 2018 they both got injured, and Rowan came back a lot sooner, so he got paired up with Daniel Bryan, and the Harper actually did come back for a little bit, like that best of both worlds, Worlds Collide tournament. This is WWE, not Van Halen. The Worlds Collide tournament, Luke Harper came back, and then he was just like, I want to get released WWE, and they was just like, okay, but what if you don't? And then there was just nothing about that. Nobody knew shit about what Luke Harper was up to, and then he came back tonight. So we'll see what happens from there. But remember that, because this isn't the last Wyatt throwback or Wyatt anything at all tonight, because the main event was the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman, no longer Raw Tag Team Champions. And oh my god, Braun Strowman actually jumped off the top rope, and that was 385 pounds landing on Seth Rollins, and he was still okay. But Braun, quote unquote, hurt his knee, so that gave Seth an edge, and he pinned, or not pinned, stomped Braun's head like 4 times, and after each time he tried to pin him, and there was nothing. So after the third pin, Seth hit him with a pedigree, which Seth used to use that pedigree a lot back when he was a stooge for Triple H and the Authority. I don't think he's ever really used it since he became the Kingslayer. But he used it this time, and then stomped his head the 4th time, and then 1, 2, 3, Seth retains the Universal Championship. So then Seth is going to the entrance and is being all happy, and the little Clash of Champions logo is appearing in the corner, the copyright logo. And everybody's getting ready for the Chronicle Sasha Banks episode special encore again, and then the lights go out in the Spectrum Center, and then the Fiend shows up with Seth in his clutches and hits him with a Sister Abigail, and then the lights go out again, and then the lights come back on, and then the Fiend has Seth Rollins in the Mandible Claw. So, Hell in a Cell is 3 weeks, kids. Whew. Let's get ready for some serious Fiend action. With all that said, see you in hell.